Hello, this is Lee Cooper, and this is my introduction video for AEP 855 Educational Leadership. So I teach in Denver, Colorado at a chain of charter schools. It is a chain of 11 charter schools that serves about 3,700 students. We serve mostly low-income students and a lot of them being English language learners. So as part of my duties, I also teach a English language development block. So teaching students who are ELs, helping them to acquire the English language. So it's a little bit different than my usual math, but all right. So when trying to think about like who are the people who have influenced me in my life, it's I don't know, it's a little bit difficult. And like when I was hearing other people say like a lot of them were like my parents or my dad or those kinds of things, I didn't have a lot of like a good fatherly role. So I've actually had a lot of influence from teachers, particularly male teachers, and I kind of think that that's part of the reason that I became a teacher and like wanted to be able to do the same. So some people being like my industrial arts teacher, metal shop teacher, Mr. Scheidt, and then I've also had a lot of influence from like literary influences. So particularly like the literary heroes in movies and in books and those kinds of things have had a lot of influence on how I try to live my life. That also being said, a huge influence recently has been the clinical psychologist Jordan Peterson, and is the reason that I kind of actually taking this course, because I did a self-authoring suite and kind of set some goals up for myself, and one of those goals was to be an administrator and continue to move my career forward. So definitely a large influence there, and somebody that I follow and listen to quite a bit. Speaking of Jordan Peterson, I actually did take his personality test at understandmyself.com and was able to get quite a bit of information about myself. It takes the big five and it breaks each of the big five into two aspects of each. So it's kind of like a Big Ten test. And so when I took the other test that was provided, it was a lot of the results were the same. I'm very high in extroversion, very high in conscientiousness. I'm about midway with agreeableness and as well as with openness. And then I kind of got some mixed results as far as neuroticism or that emotional stability goes. I wouldn't say that there was anything that was particularly surprising about the personality test that I took. I would say that I have a pretty good sense of self-awareness. Okay, so moving into the leadership theories that I most closely align to, this was actually pretty difficult for me. It took a while to try to research these things, but the two that I felt like I most aligned with were the participative leadership as well as the transformational leadership. So participative leadership, I really enjoyed the democratic piece of that, where you're not just being kind of like a tyrannical person that's making all these decisions. You're bringing people together, you're gathering information, and you are able to have like authentic conversation, work ideas out, be able to get the best from your team, and then ultimately you are, as a leader, making a decision though. And I think that's an important piece, because you don't want things to get too bureaucratic, and you don't want to get kind of caught up, and you want to be able to like make a decision. I think that, somebody who's in a leadership role is there for a reason. They're there because they have some sort of competence. So, at some point, like somebody has to make a decision, and I think that, right, it needs to be that leader. That's kind of the idea behind that. The other part, the transformational leadership. So having a strong vision is a big part of that transformational leadership. It is people know the why. You know the why, and so I'm kind of referring to Simon Sinek, right? Start with why. But you know why you're doing the things that you're doing, and your team also knows why they're doing the things that they're doing. They have a lot of buy-in, and they're moving towards a goal or a vision that is either developed by the leader or developed, kind of as a group effort. So that was something that I really enjoyed. I also enjoyed that as part of that transformational leadership, you are building personal relationships with people and helping them to establish as well as reach their own goals, like their own personal goals. And I just felt like that was like a great way to, kind of the only way to really like motivate people, right? You got to be goal oriented. How this relates to my personality? Well, I am high in extroversion, so that would help with as far as motivating people, getting to talk to people, the participative where people are coming together and talking, right? You definitely have to have that high extroversion. As well as I'm high in conscientiousness, which is going to be a little bit conflicting with the transformational leadership because it tends to take out the small details. Then the last part would be that I'm fairly high in agreeableness, which definitely helps. Again, with that kind of like democratic type thing where you can bring people together, you are open to new ideas. So again, and also I'm pretty high in openness, but an ability to work with people and not just be stuck in a single mindset and be able to change my ideas and be able to like know if something is best for the group or if it's best for the vision that the group has, then regardless of what my personal opinions might be, like making that personal sacrifice for the greater good of the group. Thank you very much.